What happens when a fighter does not give his opponent even a second to relax? What happens when every movement, every punch, and every decision starts feeling like a test of survival? In MMA, some fighters win with power, some win with wrestling, others win with speed and athletic ability. But Max Holloway has built his legacy in a different way. He overwhelms opponents with pressure, smart striking, and an unbelievable pace. He does not need one perfect punch to change a fight. Instead, he slowly breaks opponents down by making them defend, think, and react every second. As the rounds continue, the pressure keeps growing. The space disappears. The mistakes become more costly. This is why fighting Max Holloway feels like standing inside a storm. Welcome to Iron Fist MMA. If you enjoy breakdowns of the greatest fighters and their techniques, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for more MMA stories and analysis. The foundation: endless pressure without losing control. Many fighters believe pressure means simply walking forward and throwing as many punches as possible. But that kind of pressure can create problems. If a fighter rushes without a plan, they can leave openings for counters, waste energy, and become easy to read. Max Holloway's pressure works in a smarter way. He does not just chase opponents around the octagon. He uses his movement, timing, and footwork to control distance and limit where his opponents can go. Instead of forcing the action with reckless attacks, he slowly takes away their choices. Imagine standing in a room where the walls slowly start moving closer. At first, you have plenty of space. Then the space becomes smaller. Finally, every direction feels harder to escape. That is the feeling many opponents experience against Holloway. They have to constantly decide: should they move? Should they attack? Should they defend? But while they are trying to solve the problem, Holloway is already creating the next one. The weapon: volume striking. One of the biggest weapons in Max Holloway's fighting style is his amazing punch volume. Holloway is known for throwing combinations that keep his opponents busy from start to finish. While many fighters throw a few punches and then step back to reset, Holloway often keeps building his attacks. It can start with a simple jab, then comes a cross, a hook, a body shot, and another combination before his opponent even has time to fully recover. This creates a difficult challenge. Even if a fighter blocks the first punch, they still have to worry about what comes next. There is no easy moment to relax. But Holloway's pressure is not only about causing damage. It is also about making his opponents constantly work. Every movement takes energy. Every defensive reaction requires focus. Every second spent under attack creates mental and physical pressure. Over time, these small moments add up, and that is when Holloway starts taking control of the fight. The jab: a simple weapon used brilliantly. Many elite fighters have a strong jab, but Max Holloway uses his jab in a very intelligent way. For Holloway, the jab is not just a punch meant to hurt his opponent. It is a tool that helps him control the fight. He uses it to understand distance, stop opponents from moving comfortably, and create openings for bigger combinations. Sometimes, the biggest effect of a jab is not the damage it causes, it is the doubt it creates. When an opponent starts worrying about the jab, they may hesitate before moving forward. Their reactions can become slower, and they may think twice before entering striking range. That hesitation gives Holloway more opportunities to attack. The longer the fight continues, the more comfortable Holloway becomes with his timing and rhythm. Against a fighter who keeps building pressure, waiting for the perfect moment can become a dangerous strategy. The body attack: breaking the opponent slowly. One of the smartest parts of Max Holloway's striking is the way he uses body shots. Many fighters focus mainly on head strikes because they are often looking for a knockout. But body attacks can create problems in a different way. A clean body shot can make breathing harder, slow movement, and affect a fighter's energy over time. When opponents start protecting their body, their hands may drop, creating more openings for head strikes. Holloway understands that fights are not always won with one big moment. Instead, he builds damage slowly by attacking different areas and making opponents pay for every exchange inside the octagon. The mental pressure: fighting a fighter who never stops. The toughest part of fighting Max Holloway is not only the physical challenge, it is also the mental battle. Many fighters can survive a few dangerous moments inside the octagon, but dealing with constant pressure for several rounds is a completely different test. Imagine knowing that for 15 or 25 minutes, there is almost no time to relax. Every moment requires focus. Every mistake can create a new problem. That kind of pressure can create mental fatigue. Holloway has shown this ability throughout his career. A great example was his fight against Brian Ortega at UFC 231 in 2018. Holloway used his striking, combinations, and movement to control much of the fight, and the bout was stopped after the fourth round when doctors decided Ortega could not safely continue. Another example was his fight against Kattar at UFC on ABC 1 in 2021, where Holloway maintained an incredible pace and landed a very high number of significant strikes. These performances showed his key strengths: pressure, accuracy, conditioning, and control.
This is some championship level stuff.
Beautiful body work as well from Holloway.
Everything.
The art of adjusting during the fight. What separates great fighters from everyone else is their ability to adapt during a fight. A fighter can enter the octagon with a perfect game plan, but real fights rarely go exactly as planned. Opponents change their approach, strategies stop working, and unexpected moments happen. Max Holloway has shown the ability to make adjustments while fighting. He pays attention to how his opponent reacts and looks for patterns that he can use. If an opponent starts defending in a certain way, Holloway can change his combinations. If someone begins moving backward, he can increase his pressure. If an opponent becomes more aggressive, he can adjust and look for counters. This is what makes his style so effective. Holloway is not simply throwing a high number of punches. He is reading the fight, understanding his opponent's reactions, and using that information to create better opportunities.
Wow! How tough is Kelvin Kattar? And what an elbow on Max Holloway! Oh!
Another one right through the guard!
Oh my goodness!
Why opponents struggle to find rhythm against him. Every fighter wants to find their rhythm inside the octagon. They want to feel comfortable. They want to understand their opponent's timing and know when to attack. But Max Holloway makes that difficult. He changes his speed and keeps opponents guessing. Sometimes he moves forward quickly and applies pressure. Other times, he slows the pace and waits for the right moment. He can throw a simple jab, then suddenly follow it with a fast combination. This unpredictability creates problems. When a fighter cannot clearly read what is coming next, they become more defensive and hesitant. Instead of controlling the fight, they spend more time reacting. And in MMA, constantly reacting often means you are fighting from a difficult position. Durability. The confidence behind the pressure. Another important part of Max Holloway's fighting style is his toughness. A pressure fighter needs confidence. If a fighter is worried about getting hit, it becomes much harder to keep moving forward and stay aggressive. Holloway has earned respect for his ability to handle difficult moments and continue competing at a high level. However, toughness does not mean a fighter cannot be hurt. Like every athlete, Holloway has faced situations where opponents have landed strong shots. His success comes from more than durability. It comes from his defense, experience, preparation, and ability to stay focused. Holloway's goal is not to simply take punches. His goal is to create a pace and style that forces opponents to struggle throughout the fight. The evolution of Holloway's career. Max Holloway's MMA journey is a story of constant growth and improvement. When he first joined the UFC, he was a young fighter with a lot of potential. Over the years, he developed his skills and became one of the most respected strikers in the sport. In 2017, Holloway became the UFC featherweight champion after defeating José Aldo at UFC 212. Later that year, he defeated Aldo again, proving that he belonged among the best fighters in the world. In 2019, Holloway moved up to lightweight and faced Dustin Poirier for the interim lightweight title at UFC 236. Although he lost the fight, his performance showed that he could compete against elite opponents. Throughout his career, Holloway has earned respect through his skill, toughness, and willingness to face top-level competition. The weakness of pressure fighting. Even the greatest fighting styles have weaknesses. Pressure fighting demands incredible conditioning, strong defense, and smart decisions. A fighter cannot move forward without a plan, because one mistake can lead to a powerful counterattack. Max Holloway has faced opponents who created challenges for his style. Fighters with good timing, strong power, or excellent movement can make it harder for him to build his usual pressure. That is what makes MMA so interesting. Every style has strengths and weaknesses. The real challenge is finding the strategy that works best on that specific night. Why Max Holloway's style is so special. The reason Max Holloway's pressure is so special is that it is not only about throwing a lot of punches. It is about creating problems that opponents struggle to solve. Holloway makes fighters defend constantly. He makes them think under pressure. He forces them to fight at a pace that can become uncomfortable. His biggest weapon is not just one powerful strike. It is the collection of small advantages he builds throughout the fight. A clean jab, a body shot that affects movement, a combination that forces a defensive reaction, a step that takes away escape routes. Minute by minute, these moments add up. The opponent becomes tired, less confident, and focused more on surviving than controlling the fight. So what makes Max Holloway such a difficult fighter to face? It is not just his punches. It is not just his speed. It is the way he combines pressure, timing, accuracy, and fight intelligence to create a challenge that lasts every second inside the octagon. Against Holloway, winning is not only about avoiding one big strike. It is about surviving the constant attacks, the endless combinations, and the pressure that keeps building round after round. At first, an opponent may feel comfortable, but as the fight continues, Holloway's pace starts to take control. The space becomes smaller, the decisions become harder, and the pressure keeps increasing. That is what makes his style so special. Do you enjoy learning how elite fighters win their battles? Then like this video, subscribe to Iron Fist MMA, and stay with us for more incredible MMA breakdowns and fight stories.